Mom sent a message. We no longer trust you. I respond, understood. 2 days later, their lawyer reached out to me in a panic. Mom sent a message. We changed all of the locks on the front door, including the gate code. We no longer trust you. That is the type of sentence you never forget, no matter how many years pass. It came in as a text at 8:14 a.m. sharp, as if she had spent the entire night rehearsing and had finally decided it was time to perform. I just gazed at it. Not because I didn't expect it. Deep down, I knew something like this would happen. But because it felt so corporate, so clean, as if they were dismissing me from the family. And then, as if the world had stopped to allow me to comprehend the insult. I responded without flinching. Understood. Very smart. But I believe you forgot one detail. I did not wait for a response. I opened the banking app and canceled the $4,800 mortgage transfer I had been making every month on their house. The one they gave to my sister. They argued she earned it because she had grandchildren, but all I offered them was disappointment. 2 days later, a new message arrived. This time the number is different. No emojis, no passive-aggressive ellipses, just a simple all-caps subject line from a law firm. We have an issue. Please call quickly. I never did, since by the time the email arrived, the event was already over. But let me back up, because stories like this do not start with betrayal. They start with love, or at least the act of expressing it. They begin with a child who keeps saying yes because he believes it will be worth something someday. One day, they will say thank you. One day, he will be important. That youngster was me for many years. I paid the bills. I solved my problems. I bore the weight. They called for help till I stopped. That morning the locks changed. But I had already changed something far more important. Myself. To be honest, I didn't believe I was helping. I believed I was saving the family, the house, and the balance. If someone had asked me back then, I would have answered, I'm just supporting. I can afford it. However, it wasn't just anything. I'd been paying their mortgage for nearly 4 years, at $1,800 every month like clockwork. An automatic debit from my account, as if I were paying a holy family tax. Add in the utilities, property insurance, internet fees, and emergency roof repair after a storm ripped off half the shingles. All of it. My name, credit, and money. They never even thanked me. My sister Marissa, of course, was always dealing with a new dilemma. Her credit card was maxed out. I paid it down. Her car needed brakes. I covered it. Daycare was prohibitively pricey. I sent cash just till she figured it out. 3 years later, she was still finding things out. And yet, I never said no. Not once. Because I assumed this was what family members did, until I learned it was exactly what they expected. The first crack showed on Sunday afternoon. I was scrolling through Facebook while waiting for my groceries when I came across the photo. Marissa, my parents, and the kids are all standing in front of the house I was paying for, holding a sign that read, Home Sweet Home. Marissa's present. My mother's caption read, So proud of our daughter for building a future we can all share. This home is in the right hands. I had to reread it. Marissa's home. Right hands. There was no acknowledgement of me, no tag, no photo credit, not even the passing phrase. We're grateful for Jordan's support. Just them, smiling on a porch I had paid for. The comment section was a riot of emojis, hearts, and claps. She's such a powerful woman. You are lucky to have her. She's an incredible support for your family. Even my aunt said, Marissa, you deserve every inch of that house. I wanted to throw my phone away, but I didn't. I just stared at it, like if it were a bruise that I wasn't ready to touch. A few days later, I called the bank to confirm something, just to make sure the mortgage was still in my name. It was, but then the woman on the phone nonchalantly stated, Looks like there was a request submitted last week to change the primary contact to a Miss Marissa Harper. My heart stopped. They didn't finish the verification, she explained. But the documents are being processed, I said before hanging up the phone. Then I examined my statements, which is when I noticed it. There's an extra $2,400 missing from my checking account. A transfer to a card I did not authorize. I recognize that number. Marissa's emergency visa. I once bailed her out while she was temporarily unemployed 2 years ago. I messaged her quietly. Me. Have you used my card again? Marissa. Jordan, don't make this a thing. We needed groceries and the children needed shoes. I assumed we were still sharing that one. Me. No, we were not. She did not answer, but my mother did. Mom. Honey, Marissa is going through a lot right now. She stated she will repay you. Let's avoid starting a conflict over a few dollars. A few dollars. When it comes to me, $2,400 is a small amount, but when Marissa misses a phone payment, it becomes a disaster. Then came the group chat. They had renamed it Family Circle, despite the fact that I had never modified it. Someone has uploaded a meme. A man giving over his wallet with the phrase, "Big Brother energy, pay now, asked never." My cousin said, "Tag Jordan." Then, "Yo, can we get you to cover my student loans too?" Even my father chimed in. "Only if you rename your child after him. Got to keep the donor happy." I stared at the screen. Nobody was defending me. There's not even a joke to balance things out. I exited the chat, they added me back. I left again and blocked them all. But none of that compared to what happened on Friday. I was mowing the backyard, which I'd been maintaining for 3 seasons. Because, as my father once said, it's not worth hiring anyone when you're around anyway. The mower sputtered, and I took a water break. The kitchen window was open. That's when I heard my mother and Marissa. Their voices were clear, piercing, and natural, as if this wasn't the first time. Marissa was chuckling. "Did you see his face when I told Aunt Karen the house was mine? He didn't even blink, like a puppy just happy to sniff the plate." Mom was giggling. "It's almost done. Once the paperwork's through, he won't be able to say a thing. He's the one who insisted on keeping it in his name. That's on him." Then Marissa again. "Honestly, it's better this way. He's always been distant, like a guest with a wallet." And then came the words that sealed the deal. "Mama. He's not family anymore. He's just a sponsor." I did not move. I stood there with the bottle in my hand, allowing the water to drip down my fingers like blood. I felt it. The end of whatever illusion I'd been holding on to. Not relatives, but a sponsor. They didn't realize I was listening. They did not see me move away. But that moment, that statement, shattered something that had been crumbling for years. And I swear to God, something new started to grow in its stead. Just resolve, no rage or anguish. They did not expect me to show up. The invitation arrived in a rigid white envelope with gold trim and embossed inscriptions. "Please join us in celebrating Diane Harper's 60th birthday." No signature, simply, "From your family." There are 60 guests, large venue, complete catering, a slideshow. I heard of a legacy event. I did not RSVP. I did not call. I merely circled the date in red and prepared. 3 days before the celebration, I printed a document. $311,115.84. Total financial contributions include mortgage, utilities, repairs, and insurance. Each line item includes the date, purpose, and a copy of the bank transaction. I saved it on a USB drive, along with the audio from the open window. He is no longer family. He's only a sponsor. Screenshots of group discussions calling me a wallet. Photographs of receipts. The email in which my sister submitted paperwork to have the house transferred totally to her name. If she owned the house, she was also responsible for the loan. I messaged my grandfather that morning. He didn't respond. I did not need him to. The venue was just what I expected. White linen tables, big 6-deep balloons, a projector showing baby pictures and beach trips, waiters in black ties, cousins in cocktail dresses, and my mother in an emerald green gown standing in front of a placard that read, "A house is not a home without family." I almost laughed aloud. I arrived 15 minutes late on purpose. When I walked in, people's heads turned. Some smiled, while others stiffened. Marissa caught my sight, blinked twice, attempted a grin, and returned to the crowd. I did not wave or anything, just took a seat at the back. They did not squander time. Marissa gave the opening address. We talked about sacrifice, love, true family. Someone mentioned how this year had brought us closer together. The screen behind her displayed a photograph of the house. The caption reads, "Built with love. Passed down on purpose. No mention of me." Then came the toast. My mother took the microphone, dabbed her eyes, and looked around the audience like a queen giving her final blessing. "I'm proud of my daughter Marissa. She's shown what legacy truly means, and I'm grateful that this home, our home, will stay in the right hands." Applause, smiles. Until I stood up and gently approached the microphone. "I wasn't going to say anything tonight," I said softly. "But since we're talking about legacy, let's do the math." The projector flickers briefly before beginning to play audio. Mom's voice. He is no longer family. He is just a sponsor. Marissa says, like a puppy sniffing the plate. Gasps. Several people sat forward. A woman dropped her wine glass. I clicked again. The screen has changed. Screenshot. Group conversation. Tag Jordan. Only if he names his child after the bank. The ledger comes next. $1,800 times 48 months. Repairs, maintenance, property tax. If this house now belongs to Marissa, I informed her, then I'm here to present a bill. Not a favor. A debt. I held up the printed invoice. 211 pages, stapled. Silence. Then, "Are you serious?" Marissa exclaimed. "Dead serious," I said. "Unless you want to call it theft." "It was a gift," my mother snapped. "Funny," I remarked, moving closer. "I didn't sign a gift certificate. I signed every check." My father stood up as if about to launch. I turned to face him. "Want to talk about the loan application you filled out using my name as a cosigner without telling me? Because I've got that too." He sat back down. That is when the door opened, and my grandfather walked in. He didn't say anything at first. I stepped directly to the front of the room. All 60 guests watched as he took the microphone, glanced around, and spoke slowly. "You raised a thief," he added, staring at my father. "And a coward. You tried to bury your son in silence. But the thing about mud is, it doesn't hide footprints for long. The trust is yours now," he added, looking at me. "The one your father tried to redirect. I changed it last week. Marissa's name has been removed completely." Gasps again. My mom's face cracked. Marissa's knees buckled. She used the back of a chair to stabilize herself. "You want a legacy?" Grandpa asked, staring directly at them. "Earn it, the hard way." He dropped the mic, literally, and walked away. I placed the printed invoice on the gift table, between a stack of boxed wine and family photo albums. "You changed the locks," I announced loudly enough for the back row to hear. "I changed my future. I'm not your donor, I'm your debt collector." Then I walked out. Did not stay for cake, did not shake hands. I didn't look back. The celebration was over, and so was the falsehood. The next morning, I awoke to 57 unread texts. The first came from my mother. "You embarrassed me for my birthday. You mocked your own blood." Then my dad. "I don't care what you believe you are owed, you will not see a single penny." Then, as usual, Marissa uploaded a black screen on her Instagram story. "Some wounds come from those who were supposed to heal you." The comments accompanying her final shot were a parade of ambiguous sympathy. "You do not deserve this. Mama. Stay strong. Family will ruin you more quickly than strangers." None of them realized she had called me a pocketbook from behind a locked window. Neither of them had seen the invoice, but somebody else had. 2 days later, I received a call from an unknown number. I responded out of pure curiosity. "Greg Harper." The speaker said calmly and clearly. "My name is Philip Grant. I'm an attorney representing your parents. I'd like to discuss a potential financial resolution." I did not speak. "They're not looking for a lawsuit," he explained. "They want this to go away quietly. No press, no social media. In exchange, they're willing to offer a settlement." I slumped back in my chair. "Let me guess," I replied. "Half the amount I'm owed in exchange for silence?" "A reasonable amount," he remarked, "given the informality of the arrangement." I nearly laughed. "Philip," I replied, "I have every receipt, every deposit. I have audio of them mocking me. I have their voices on tape admitting what they did." "I'm aware," he replied stiffly. "That's why we're calling." "Then here's what we'll do," I explained. "Full repayment, every cent. Or I file a public claim and attach the audio as evidence. You've got 72 hours. He paused. "Understood. I'll be in touch." Exactly 72 hours later, the wire struck. $311,115.84, labeled as reimbursement settlement. No further liability is admitted. It did not come from my parents. Not even Marissa. The sender used a private business account registered to someone I didn't recognize. Probably a loan shark or a worried friend of my father's. That made things even better. I printed the transaction, filed the papers, and saved it 6 different times. I didn't respond, thank them, or say anything. I was not there to make peace. I was there to get paid. A week later, I shared a video. The background is clean. There is no rage, only clarity. Some argue that closure is about forgiveness. A wire transfer marked the end of the process for me. $211,723.84 is the cost of 4 years of silence, obedience, and funding another person's fantasy. They refer to me as a sponsor after first calling me family. Now they may say I'm settled. I blurred the account numbers while leaving the total visible. This is not about hatred. This is about facts, and facts come with receipts. The post became viral again, but this time, even more so. Therapists shared it. The adult children of toxic parents sowed it. One guy DM'd, stating it encouraged him to cancel his mother's auto lease. I did not respond. That day, my father left a voicemail. So, that's it? Do you honestly believe that? Money can heal everything? Do you think you've won? You are no longer part of this family. I deleted it without hearing the rest. They had changed the locks. I altered the terms. Now I reside in a tiny modern apartment with large windows and complete silence. There's no family group chat, no late-night calls for immediate assistance. There are no guilt trips disguised as concern. People occasionally question if it hurts to be done with them. It does not. Because the reality is, I'm not finished. I am free. Freedom costs exactly $311,115.84. People keep asking if I am feeling lighter now. If cutting off my family provided me peace, closure, or whatever word people like to say when they mean it, did it work? The answer is easy. I do not feel lighter. I feel more clear. Because calm isn't necessarily synonymous with weightlessness. It sometimes comes with gravity, a grounded, firm sense that you're finally on your own side. After everything, they vanished precisely as I predicted. No calls, no letters, no, we miss you. Just silence. Not the sort that hurts, but the kind that affirms the truth. I was never their son. I was a service member, and when I stopped working, I stopped mattering. 2 months later, I finally learned to love mornings, the way sunshine seeps through clean windows, the sound of coffee spilling, rather than texting. There are no group conversations begging for favors. Number. Can you transfer stuff quickly? No passive-aggressive. Guess who hasn't phoned their mother recently? My phone is quiet. My hands are steady, and I've stopped waiting for people to inquire how I'm doing, unless they actually care about the response. People who only know a part of the story continue to ask, but they're your family. I nod. Yes, just as a cage remains a home if you've never known anything else. But I stepped outside, and the air out here doesn't demand proof of my usefulness. I don't tell the entire tale anymore until someone has earned it. There's no excitement in retelling trauma, only exhaustion. So today, when people wonder why I'm not close to my family, I just explain that I stopped mistaking access for affection. That typically shuts them up. I used to check my previous accounts to see if anyone had reached out. They did not. Not once. No apologies or explanations. Not even a guilt trip passed off as care. There was nothing but silence, as if I had never existed. Like $211,723.84 of my existence was an administrative error. That they corrected by eliminating me. Fine. Allow them to pretend. They excel at pretending. What is the worst part? They undoubtedly believe I still care. That I'm out here stewing in rage, waiting for an apology, secretly hoping they'll change. I am not. I have seen them for what they are, and when the mask slips that far, you don't wait for it to come back on. You walk away. You do not check your rearview mirror. Forgiveness. Number. That's a word people use as a blanket when they're feeling guilty and want your comfort without having earned it. Forgiveness necessitates acknowledgement, accountability, and regret. They provided none of that. So I'm not returning anything. My therapist once asked me, "What would you say to them now if they were in front of you?" I thought about it. I sat in that chair, breathing gently, trying to visualize their faces, those familiar masks formed over years of denial and deception. I said nothing. I wouldn't say anything because it would imply that they still have access. But they don't. There is no key anymore. There is no emergency contact. There are no bank accounts with shared permissions. No numbers were saved, just in case. I removed all traces of them from my life. Not out of spite, but because of necessity. That is pretty much how survival works. It does not come with fireworks. It simply comes with locked doors and a clean slate. Sometimes I imagine them telling people I cut them off because of money. I was always distant. That I had lost it. Sure. Let them. Allow them to keep their softened and flattering versions, in which they are victims of the ungrateful child who dared to say no. They need fiction. I have the facts. Facts don't beg. They don't whine. They don't tremble under inspection. Facts sit stationary. They wait. They endure. Just as I did. Now, I live. Not in a fairy tale. Not in retribution. Just life. Real. Boring. Mine. I work. I rest. I laugh when it's funny. I eat when I'm hungry. Not when I'm asked to attend a family meal where I'll pay the tab and be forgotten. I remember my mother telling me years ago that if you ever left, we'd fall apart. And she was correct. They did. But I did not. I am not broken. I am not bitter. I am not waiting. I'm just finished. Not as a warning. Not as a statement. As a fact. Like a locked phone. Like a clean inbox. Like a phone number that rings once and goes nowhere. No forwarding. There is no comeback. It's just me. Whole. And free.